Hello, my loves, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for pressing play on today's episode. We're going to dive right into it today, and we're going to go deep, okay? We're going to be talking about money shame. This is a very deep, whew, ouchy topic. Certainly is one that we tend to want to move away from. Every time I think about shame, and anytime I'm recording content that talks about shame, I think about Brene Brown and how she talks about what people are going to look up shame researcher. Who's going to do that? And yet we all love Brene Brown, and we've been very excited by the work that she's been putting out there. What I think that happens so often for women in particular is we carry a tremendous amount of shame about our money. I talk about this more deeply inside Wealthy as Fuck, which is open for enrollment very soon. And for those of you who join the wait list, you'll receive a $1,000 off coupon and pre-enrollment for the program. So head on over to amyvanmeel.com/money for the wait list, and you'll get that coupon code emailed out to you when pre-enrollment opens. What I touch on inside Wealthy as Fuck is how our history, specifically for women around money, has really been written in a way that continues to create and hold a tremendous amount of shame for us even today. And so many of us are living this out. A really great example, if you're an entrepreneur and you are also connected into energetic teachings and understanding the power of our words and how what you say matters, then my guess is you don't like to talk about in the beginning stages of a business how little money you are making. And it's a couple of things. In part, there's this silly construct that we have, which makes no sense, but it exists anyway, that says we should be making money pretty quickly. If we're not making money, we're doing it wrong. But add in the energetic side of things that says if someone asks you about your business, don't say that it's not doing well, because you're just going to be calling in more of that. What happens is that shame lives in the darkness. Shame lives in the space where we are unwilling to talk about it, where it becomes unacceptable for something to be said. Now, this is a very interesting thing as it relates to money. So many of us desire to experience more money in our life, to experience more financial freedom, to experience more confidence, I think, as it relates to how our money exists in our life. But we've also been shamed for our choices. We are shamed for not knowing more about money. There's this sense of, well, you should know, and yet nobody that I've ever talked to has ever gone through a money course. Nobody that I've ever talked to had Finance 101 in high school. It wasn't talked about. And for so many people, money and finance wasn't talked about in the home either. Now, it's amazing. People who have had structures in their lives where money and finance could be readily talked about, they operate differently around money. And from what I have seen so far, most of them earn more and have a more abundant experience with money. And that's amazing. And I think that that's a really great example of what happens when we take the shame of asking about money, of learning about money, of struggling with money away. When we feel that it's shameful that we aren't earning more, when we feel that it's shameful that we don't know more, when we feel ashamed to ask questions about it or to declare openly that we want to have more of it in our lives, it pushes the ability to expand into the darkness. One of the things that I share inside Wealthy as Fuck is how we begin to untangle shame and how we leverage basic financial insight to create big financial expansion. What I have found is when we're ashamed to talk about it, when we're ashamed to admit that this is something that we want. Hi, my loves. I wanted to interrupt this video for just a quick second to invite you to a special free live workshop that I'm hosting March 23rd, 24th, and 25th called Drop the Veil. We are going to be tackling 3 money myths that are keeping you disconnected from the wealth that you desire to see and experience in your life. It's completely free. Just get yourself registered so I can send you the invitation to join me live every day. And if you can't join me live, registering for the workshop will also get you access to the replay page so that you can catch all the goodness on your own time. Join me for the workshop by going to amyvanmeel.com/drop the veil, and I will see you on the inside. So here's the thing about shame. Shame, especially as it comes to money, freezes action. It stops us in our tracks from moving forward. It actually keeps us stuck. And it keeps us replaying the same financial reality over and over. If you've been experiencing debt and you have this sense of shame about this debt, that shame and that sense that it's wrong tends to anchor it into our lives. Not because we're determined to keep living that out, not because it's like a predestined endpoint for us, but because until we actually are willing to look it in the eye and perhaps see it differently, we actually can't change it. Imagine if you had a health issue, but you were too ashamed to go to the doctor about it. You felt such shame about whatever the health issue was that you were having. You couldn't actually get help to fix it, right? You couldn't actually move yourself into a direction that starts to restore your health and well-being, because the shame is actually keeping you in a place that is disconnected from the resources that say, okay, here, let's restore your health. The same is true when we feel shame about our money and about our finances. It's not that we need to talk about and complain about how little we have. It is that it is important to acknowledge what we are experiencing and to not just acknowledge, but to embrace the desire that we have to experience more, to experience something different. And we can't do that so long as we are holding on to the shame that we feel about it. If this is resonating with you at all, and if you're saying, okay, but Amy, like, how do I begin to shift this? This is where my work comes in. In a few days, the pre-enrollment will open for Wealthy as Fuck, which is my transformational money program. We go into foundational money knowledge and insight that will already start to shift the frameworks that are holding in your current financial reality. And we will move through how to actually work with your brain and with how your beliefs are formed to eliminate the beliefs that are keeping you stuck and rewrite new beliefs that will help you start to build the financial wealth and the overall life wealth and prosperity that you desire to experience. Folks who join me on the waitlist will receive a $1,000 off coupon code and access to pre-enrollment for Wealthy as Fuck. So to get onto the waitlist, go to amyvanmeel.com/money. The URL is also below the video for you. Get yourself signed up for the waitlist, and I look forward to seeing you inside. Thank you so much for tuning into this video today. If you found this helpful, it would be awesome if you hit that like and then click subscribe, and you will get more notifications of videos like this from my channel as they get dropped. I would love so much if you found this useful to please share the video out. If you share this on the socials, feel free to please tag me. You'll find me at Amy Van Meel on all of the socials. And I would love to celebrate you sharing this content out with your networks and with your family and friends. Until next time, have a wonderful week. Bye for now.